That's the Talkie Talk for this morning, and as promised, we're talking digital transformation, the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. And with me this morning, our guests, the project coordinator, Mr. Winston George, and the communications officer, Jennifer Richardson. Good morning, lady, gentlemen, and I should say welcome back to the studio of NBC because you've both been here at some point in time, I believe.
Yes, good morning, Calvin.
Colville.
And good morning to the listeners of NBC Radio.
Yes, and glad to have you both here this
Thanks
morning.
for having us.
And as mentioned, digital transformation. This is huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. Now we may not be not me. We will not be able to get through all of what. And I mean, this is a bit more of a slightly less formal interaction with Talkie Talk. But the long and short of it is that some changes are coming that will result in things being easier in doing business, digital IDs, and all of these things. But I wouldn't want to take away from your presentations because, of course, you have your individual areas you'll want to zoom in on. But just to give an overview of this project, what it means and what it will mean after it's complete for St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
All right, Calvin, I'll go first. Thanks again for having us. We are the voices of the Digital Transformation Project, and like you say, it's a huge project, but it is an exciting project. It is an exciting time for St. Vincent and the Grenadines as we seek to take the government services into the digital world. You know, technology is advancing, and we can't afford to be left behind. We're already a little bit behind, so we are playing catch up right now, but we will get there. And so you have the Digital Transformation Project. Basically, in a nutshell, in a summary, we are taking government services online.
That's the long and short of it.
That's the long and short of it. We're taking it online. So we're encouraging persons to get familiar with their devices. They're already on their phones. They know how to use them. We need them to be able to use their laptops, their desktop computers, their tablets, whatever device they use to be able to transact business online. So get comfortable with your devices, young and all in between, everybody, because this project is going to affect the lives of everybody in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The main idea is to make government more efficient and to make things easier for you to transact business with the government. I am not going to say too much. I'm going to allow my project coordinator to give you more details on what is happening inside of this project. Mr. Winston George,
Winston,
you can take it.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer and Colville. Good morning to St. Vincent and the Grenadines and all those in the diaspora. Just a little background on the project. The Caribbean Digital Transformation Project is being implemented in the 4 Windward Islands. In the case of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the government, through funding from the World Bank, is investing 81 million EC dollars into the whole digital transformation project. And as Jennifer indicated, it is essentially to allow citizens to transact business online with the government. A number of the critical government services would be taken online, and the persons in St. Vincent in the diaspora would have access to addressing their business with the government. So I will move quickly into what are some of the key things that we are looking at under the project. The first one, and this is foundational to the overall implementation of the project, has to do with an upgrade of the civil registry, and that will be integrated with the upgrade also of the ID system, a unique digital ID. In terms of the upgrade of the civil registry system, it will allow for the online registration of births and deaths and so forth. Also, this is critical for establishing unique identity across, and would be beneficial to both government and the private sector in terms. So, for example, persons may want to access services at different places, but they may ask for two forms of ID. Once this system is set up, it could allow both the public and the private sector to vet and verify identity very easily. And also it benefits the general public, not now having to have more than one form of identification. The second major item we want to talk about is a tax information management system. As we speak, we are currently evaluating 3 vendors for the supply of a new tax information management system. And essentially, this will allow for electronic filing and payment of taxes, driver's license, all the different license, property tax, etc. While we are doing that, we are currently working on putting a front end, a taxi filing front end, to integrate with what we call GovPay, a payment platform that we have built to allow for the filing of taxes and so on the old tax system, because the new one will be rolled out over a year and a half or so, right? So in the interim, we want to deal with that. The second critical item we have is what we call the electronic single window for trade facilitation. Essentially, this is allowing a single entry point for at the customs for like licenses, permits, certificates of origin for the import and export of goods, right? We have signed a contract of US $2.34 million with UNCTAD, and we would be in implementation from this month. UNCTAD soon would be on the ground to work with the various stakeholders. Now, this single window will affect 16 border agencies. When I say border agencies, so for example, in agriculture, you want to export or import agricultural commodities, you have to provide phytosanitary certificate, import permits, and so all these would be uploaded at a single entry point. The other item I want to talk about, and we're talking a lot of single windows here, is an electronic single window for land and property transactions. And it follows the same principle that anything that has to do with land and property transactions would be done at a single entry point. As we speak, we are looking at the various business processes for the land transaction management system as it is and what we would like it to be. So those are critical works. Underlying those are several different activities that I could speak about, but those different activities support the implementation of the single window for land and property transaction. We are currently looking at the land registry to digitize all the land records. So that forms a part of what we call the land information system, upon which the single window for land and property transactions will be built. Those are 4 of the core things, right? Now, to support this, we have some cross-cutting things that we have to deal with. We are implementing a government data center. As we speak as well, we are in the process of preparing the functional and technical specifications. We have identified a site for the implementation of the data center. We are also addressing matters related to data protection and privacy, cybersecurity. All these are critical elements to support a digital footprint for the government. Also, and it's a mouthful, but I want to talk. So while we do the technical work to implement all these things, we have to also address the policy, legal and regulatory framework for all of these different systems as we go digital. And we currently have a consultancy that is ongoing, that is looking at all of these items.
All right, that's quite a lot to begin with this morning. But from what I'm getting from what you stated, you would, and when we go in this direction, you would have a bit of an online identification, similar to how you have a physical ID. You'll now have an online ID that you would use to transact with the government.
Right. So actually, you have a single sign-on. Right. So citizens could have a single sign-on. Right. And this single sign-on will come. We are building also what you call a web and a mobile portal. But also we are not just thinking of persons having the devices and the computers and the tablets and so to transact business. We are thinking also about customer service centers in different areas of the country, maybe in North Windward, North Leeward, in the Grenadines especially. So in different areas, you could have persons there assisting citizens to even transact their business with government.
Right. And Jennifer, I think the part of this is allowing for greater efficiency in doing business, particularly in this case with transacting business with the government.
That's right. And once you have data connection and this project is fully implemented, you'll be able to do business with the government just about anywhere you are in the world.
With any device.
Like any device. Winston usually use this example, and I love it, that a farmer who has data connection could stay in their lands and pay their driver's license and pay any other tax that they may have with the government without having to lose time to leave the farm, to come into town, to stand up in the long lines and pay, and then you lose a whole day basically just standing on lines. So one of the critical things is that once you are comfortable using your devices, you can save a lot of time by not having to come into town and stand on the lines. With the click of a button, you could transact your business with the government, and you will have a lot of spare time to do other things, including sleep if you want to, but you'll be able to, so the idea is to make things more efficient for people. And already there are some parts of the project that are working. There are people who don't know yet that you can go into inland revenue, and if you don't have cash, you could use your card and pay. They accept your credit card, your debit card. You can do that there. You can do it at the Treasury, at Customs, and at SIPO. And SIPO also, they have also set up their single window for business registration and all of that. And all those things are part of the digital transformation project that are already working. So things are happening, and we're just encouraging people to keep abreast, stay tuned, listen out for what is happening, and at the same time, try learning to use your devices. A lot of people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines still not comfortable using the computer. They don't know how to use it, right? So we're encouraging them. You have places in the country that are offering courses in computer technology, information technology, that you can go and learn how to use these systems. So learn how to use them, get comfortable, because we're trying to make this country paperless, basically.
Right.
Yeah, we're saving a few trees, protecting the environment. Yeah. And once we go paperless, we need for you to be able to use your devices. However, we have, there is a cushion for the older persons who are just not comfortable. And there are going to be areas where you can go in to pay. You will not necessarily go to a counter to meet a cashier, but you'll have a kiosk and someone will be there to guide you how to use it, so that, nobody will be left behind.
Right.
And there's a lot of training involved in the project. So the public servants would be fully aware and know how to use the system properly, so that we could minimize whatever downtime there might be in a system. So maybe at this point, Winston could talk about the computer security system.
I was actually coming to that, because coming from an IT background, the first question I had in terms of online payment is security, and I know you mentioned that.
Right.
How secure would this platform be? How much? I don't want to ask you how much would be invested in security, because clearly that would be budgetary, But in terms of the special look at security when it comes to this
right.
project.
So, very good question. The government is investing significant amounts in terms of cybersecurity, both in terms of the policy, legal and regulatory framework, but in terms of the technical implementation. So a computer emergency response team would be set up to address the whole matter of security. I just want to say that part of the project has to do with the implementation of an e-payment platform. And this e-payment platform will be implemented based on international standards and best practices, because you have the payment card industry digital security standards, and it would be established on a secured network, right? As we speak in terms of cybersecurity, we are meeting with different stakeholders, not only within government, within the private sector that are crucial, like the banks and the credit unions and so forth, in terms of their whole cybersecurity, because it's an ecosystem. So something could attack one part of, institution or so in the country, and it could be transferred throughout and probably take down your whole system and so forth. So we are working currently on addressing that, and that will have priority in this year for implementation.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you could also speak to the role of the ITSD.
Yes, I was going to ask that.
Well, ITSD plays an integral role in the implementation of the project. Not only ITSD, but there are different other stakeholders, other IT units within government, because in the Customs and Excise Department, you have the ASICUDA unit. In Inland Revenue, you also have that IT unit. In Treasury, there are IT units. One of the things that we are doing under the project is to look at a digital transformation strategy for the country, and to look at different sectors in terms of digital transformation. And within that, we are looking at what would be the institutional framework. So as we are now, we have ITSD, but we are going to 24/7 government. 24/7 government requires a different operational type focus. So that is something that we are addressing under the project as well. So government will definitely be looking at the institutional framework to sustain the gains that we are expected to have under the project.
Yeah. And we are likely to, well, not likely to, we will see a lot of changes in the way things are done here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And we want our people to be aware of the changes. And we are trying our best to manage those changes properly, so that nothing is abrupt and people are not dropped into something that they're not familiar with. And we would like persons to just pay attention to what we are doing. When we are meeting in your community, we're encouraging you to come out so that you could hear what is being done. You could ask your questions, and you could be familiar with what is happening. We really would not want persons to say, this is happening now, we ain't hearing anything, and we don't know what is happening. We're going to have a lot of information out there for you to follow the project and to get yourself ready for the changes that are going to come.
Right. And I know you mentioned the ITSD, and some of our listeners may not necessarily know what ITSD is. But so just want to break that down for them. That is the
Information Technology Services Division in the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning and Information Technology.
And that drives the entire government IT system at the moment.
Government's implementation and support of IT.
And that's including of gov.vc as
yes,
well.
Yes.
How would that impact on gov.vc in terms of the services and and what is offered there, or this project in particular?
So actually, there is, remember I spoke about the web portal?
Right.
So there would be a single point where you could access to direct citizens to the different services for the government. While we are looking at that portal, we are also giving some consideration to looking at gov.vc, the website in general, to upgrade it. That is under consideration.
All right, and I see that the lens have been blinking a little while. I'm not sure. Maybe someone has a question as it relates to. You may have to just put your headphones on for a bit so that we can take this call, if it is that they're still with us. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
Yes, good morning.
Happy New Year to you. And I wanted to hear the panel have been speaking about our Constitution. So I'm going to be very short because I've been lashed about understanding what is the Constitution. Without the Constitution, there's no...
Caller, sorry, we're not talking about the Constitution this morning.
I know, but what I'm saying, for every aspect of what we are doing, the lady said that they're coming to people and they're going to, if you don't follow the Constitution, how could you have such a tremendous change? It means then that people don't, and this is why people don't have trust. The Constitution would empower us when changes come, that we would be protected across the board. Because if it doesn't happen, we are going to find ourselves in trouble. Don't underestimate the purpose of the Constitution. Every new change, any adjustments in every anything that we do, there must be a Constitution that empowers people, that people must know there will be accountability, that we could feel safe, that if people violate the law and break the law and do...
Sorry to interrupt, but we're really trying to stay on course here in terms of our discussion on digital transformation, please.
Digital transformation would mean, my brother, that those people who are there are put in authority to be able to make sure that the system is accountable. They have to follow the Constitution. And so without the Constitution, basically, is that we are going to run ourselves on the rock. My brother, why you can't understand that?
All right.
I've been begging for years to believe that we're talking something different.
All right,
you don't need to wake up.
All right, we'll leave that there. We'll leave that there for this morning. It's really too early in the new year. Let's stay on course here with our discussion this morning on digital transformation. Of course, this would mean some change, Jennifer, to those who are used to doing things online, but it may be a little different in terms of doing it in a local sphere, doing it in a local circle. How different would it be looking at the plans when you are doing your transactions compared to if you sign up on a site somewhere regularly? Would it be a similar sort of experience? Is that the intention?
In general, it will be a similar type experience. We do transactions on Amazon and all these places. We use our devices, we use our cards. In terms of the payment platform, there will be different types of ways that you could make payments. So you could have your debit and credit card. You could also have your different text payments, whatever. You could also have your transfers for payments and so forth. So there are different modes of making payment.
Winston, before you go on, like anything else, like every other platform, all platforms have their rules and their privacy, regulations and all of that. So every platform you go on may be a little different when it comes to privacy issues, rules, and so on that you have to conform to. But basically, the technology is the same. So once you can use one site, you'll be able to use the government site.
And the support, you mentioned support being provided to those who, it might be new to them, particularly.
There will be support.
Those who are not very tech savvy, as we like to say, the techno peasants among us, they'll be given that support.
The technology immigrants, I call them.
Well, I believe once you're able to function, let's say, on social media, because many of our techno peasants are now learning the ropes, as we like to say, when it comes to social media. So if you apply that, it shouldn't be much of a steep learning curve.
No, it shouldn't be.
Suspect.
But in any case, under the project, we are addressing the whole matter of change management. So we would want to take people along as we go in terms of, making sure they understand how to do. And surely, I mean, you talk techno-peasant, etc. We have what you call we know we have the digital divide and so on. So we would have to cater for that to ensure that our citizens could access the information. Yeah. I don't want to run on, but the caller mentioned about the Constitution, and I just want to say that in terms of the policy, legal and regulatory framework, whatever we are doing there falls in line with the Constitution. We can't, create policies or laws that goes contrary to, certain foundational principles in our country.
This is it's specifically related to the digital side of things in terms of ease of business. Ease of business.
Yeah, ease of doing business.
With the government, yes.
Yes.
And of course, the discussion will take several weeks for us to complete, I believe, with the scope of information. But we have just a few minutes remaining. Jennifer, maybe you'd want to point to a few other things that we may have skipped over this morning that would be critical for the average person to understand about this digital transformation project.
Okay. I don't think we have skipped over I think we touched most of the critical points, but just so that, just a reminder for persons that, there will be the unique identifier,
right.
That is unique to you. And, that makes it difficult for persons to impersonate you online. That's how we verify and authenticate online. That's you are who you. That's your online ID. You are who you say you are when you come on. And remember that your data will be protected. That's also a critical component of the project. The cybersecurity, e-government, and basically the single windows for all the different transactions that we're gonna have. Those are critical. Fast and easy access, 24/7 government, as we mentioned, and you can do business with the government from anywhere. Now, I know we're running out of time, so I want to point persons to the fact that we do have an online presence.
Yes.
We have a website, dtp.gov.vc. You can get more information there. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and we have a YouTube channel. Just type in S.V.G. Digital Transformation, and you will find us. And you could follow us, like our pages, and get more information there. And you could also, our contact information, call us or email us, call us, and we would be happy to speak to you to explain things.
All right. I think Winston, you wanted to add something?
Just to say that there's a component of the project that addresses capacity building. So we have a digital skills training component, and that will be open to the public. Internally, we are also doing capacity building for the staff of the government to maintain and manage the systems. And also, there's some resources under the project to support small and medium enterprises in the adoption of digital technologies as well.
All right. And I hope at some point soon we'll get you back into dive a little deep into some of the areas which we touched on this morning briefly.
Yeah. Colby, before you go, I want our friends in the Grenadines especially to hear this, that we're planning to come to you. We went to Bequia before. The turnout wasn't really great. But we are going to go back to other parts of the Grenadines, including Bequia at some point. And we're hoping that those persons would come out to those meetings when we go, because this project is going to especially affect them in a very positive way. Could you imagine not having to come to St. Vincent to pay $15 for a birth certificate and, not having to spend all that money to come up? You understand? So great things are in store for them and for all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I want persons, when we come to you, to please just come out and hear what we have to say, because it's going to benefit you.
Great efficiency, of course. Thanks very much to you, Jennifer Richardson, Communications Officer, and Winston George, Project Coordinator for the Digital Transformation Project, the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project. We're glad that you could both be here, and we hope at some point we can have you back, at least one of you, to dive deeper into some of the different areas. Have a great one today, and thanks for coming.
Same
Thank
to you.
you.
Thank you.